Chapter 30, Sharp Insight. Shen Ya really wanted to cry. She had always been a fashionable bachelor princess adored by men and had seen all kinds of men from all around the globe. As a national goddess stewardess with a beautiful smile, she had always occupied the high ground in the heart of the opposite sex, until this man who actually dared to act indifferent towards her broke all of her conventional paradigms, completely disrupting her rhythm and common sense. When she thought that Su Cheng was just trying to play hard to get and would actually have the same nature as all the other men, Su Cheng actually ignored her innate advantage as a stunningly beautiful lady and used violence on her. Just what sort of next-level one-of-a-kind scumbag would use hands instead of words to communicate with a woman? All in all, Shen Yao felt that her entire perception of men in this world had been turned upside down because of Su Cheng. It turned out that a guy could actually be that much of a scumbag. Since Su Cheng said that he would just stand there and let Shen Yao vent her anger, she felt that she would be dumb to not take him up on the offer. So, summoning all of her strength and gathering the hatred stemming from all the injustice she had received from Su Cheng the past few days, she decided to slap him in the face with all of her strength. At that thought, with her back against Su Cheng, she gritted her teeth, extended her right palm, and channeled the strength from her entire body. She slowly stood up, preparing a super big arc to throw Su Cheng a slap as revenge and declare her dominance. Su Cheng felt that he truly inadvertently hurt the little girl and was feeling extremely guilty. He sighed after seeing Shen Yao sobbing non-stop, thinking that if she was really going to turn around and slap him, then he would just let her. But just at that moment, the phone in his pocket began vibrating. "Have a taste of my Buddha palm strike!" Shen Yao shouted with her back towards Su Cheng, and with a powerful spin move, she came swinging with her slap. But the thing was, Su Cheng didn't know it was coming since Shen Yao was just sobbing earlier and didn't say she was going to take him up on the offer. So, just at that moment, Su Cheng turned around and went to pick up his phone. "Hello, instructor." "Instructor, Su Cheng, I heard that you had some friction with the people of North Gate." "Maybe it's just a small misunderstanding," Su Cheng replied. Since it was about work, he thought it would be better to take the call somewhere else. But as he walked away, he didn't notice Shen Yao who was spinning around to slap him as hard as she could. Of course, she ended up missing, and all the force and body weight she used carried her forward and made her fall again onto the floor face first. Ran Jing closed her eyes. She could feel that Shen Yao's sanity was on the verge of collapsing. "Are you okay?" Coming over, Ran Jing helped Shen Yao up. Shen Yao blinked her big beautiful eyes, which were getting a little red. However, she gritted her teeth and said, "I can't cry. I'm the queen, Shen Yao." After Su Cheng finished the call, he completely forgot that he was just apologizing to Shen Yao a moment ago and immediately said, "I'm going to work." Then, he left. Just like that. Seeing him leaving out the door, the tears brewing in Shen Yao's eyes finally began gushing down like a flood. "I've never seen someone that's as much of a scumbag as him. Su Cheng, just you wait." Ran Jing patted her on the shoulder and comforted her. "I think you should just let it go. Before, I couldn't give an absolute evaluation of his power, but now I can. Come up, let me show you something." Shen Yao kept on sobbing as she was helped over to Ran Jing's desk, and she saw the palm print Su Cheng inadvertently left. "What is this?" Shen Yao asked as she wept. "Just now, he just casually came over and rested his hand here, and he left this. It's clear how much strength he has. The longer I've known him, the more mysterious I find him. Who cares about how powerful he is, seeing how he doesn't have the slightest interest towards women. I already know he probably practiced some virgin technique when he was young. If he really pisses me off enough, I can just drug him. I will take away his virginity." Shen Yao's eyes lit up in rage as she thought about Su Cheng. Ran Jing bitterly smiled. Would that be trying too hard? Su Cheng was on the road on his motorcycle. Just now, his instructor called him, wanting to switch him to a new area to help him avoid being harassed by North Gate. It was his instructor's order, so Su Cheng couldn't refuse. So now, he was just heading over to his shift early so his colleagues could help him get familiar with the new area, which was the West District. When waiting at a traffic light, Su Cheng stopped his motorcycle and lit a cig. This red light was usually 2 minutes long, and it was enough for him to take a few huffs in. As he smoked, Shen Yao's snow-white legs short-circuited his brain for a second. He shook his head, trying to not think of the awkward encounter. On the sidewalk across the street from him, a group of elementary school students that just got out of school was walking on the crosswalk, passing him. Su Cheng was reminded of his childhood upon seeing these kids. Although his childhood was unbearable, there were still beautiful moments and it was still an unforgettable part of his life. Su Cheng saw that the traffic light was about to change up as the countdown was about to end. But at that moment, a car on the opposite side of the intersection took off early by 1 second while the light was still red, and it charged straight into the intersection, about to run into the kids that were passing the crosswalk. Perhaps no one noticed the scene of the driver having a pale face with saliva drooling off of the corners of his mouth, but Su Cheng spotted this odd car right as it stopped for the red light. He even clearly saw through the window that the driver was shaking his head like he was driving under the influence. Su Cheng's face immediately changed. He threw his motorcycle to the side and charged straight towards the 3 kids that were still getting over the crosswalk. He picked up the kids and landed on the sidewalk on his back, with that car swerving left and right and passing right by him. The scene left everyone in cold sweat. After being picked up and landing into a stranger's arms, the 3 kids immediately began crying as well. They also felt that the car speeding past them was about to hit them. The female teacher leading the group finally came back to her senses and ran over with red eyes to check on the kids. After letting go of the 3 kids, Su Cheng immediately got up and chased after the swerving car. If his intuition was correct, the driver was probably on cocaine. His car already collided into 3 oncoming cars and severely affected traffic. Su Cheng rushed over, thanking God that the driver had already collapsed on the steering wheel and was no longer accelerating. However, the leftover force of the vehicle at its weight and current velocity was still enough to kill a pedestrian, and what was most dangerous was that no one knew which direction the car was going to take. With a mad dash, Su Cheng caught up with the car. He forcefully pulled open the passenger door, got in, and stepped on the brake to stop the car from causing more harm. Not long after, 2 police cars came over, and they finally let out a sigh of relief seeing that no one was injured. They came forward and shook Su Cheng's hands. "We are very grateful for your bravery and what you just did." Su Cheng took out his badge and said, "My responsibility as well." "Oh, you are from the civil police department?" The criminal police officer saluted Su Cheng and said, "We are from the drug unit. We've had our eyes on this guy for a long time, but didn't expect for things to get out of control like this. We are very grateful for your help in keeping the situation contained and not letting it cause any injuries or casualties. Now, we can take it from here." Su Cheng nodded. "Then I will get going first." "Thanks." Then, the officer picked up the intercom and reported to his supervisor, "Captain Ran, target number 8 has been located.